respected Chairman, IFSC Authority, Shri Janfariyadnews Srinivas, Shri V. Balasubramanian, MD and CEO, NSE International Exchange, friends from media, my colleagues, and everyone else invited. It's a pleasure and honor to be in front of you today to welcome all of you for a situation which is now evolving. It started around 15 years back when currently Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji went to Singapore and was asking people. He met a lot of Indians there, and he figured that there are lots and lots of Indians not only in Singapore but also in London, in Dubai, in Hong Kong, and also in New York, providing top-class financial services to the population internationally. And he got this idea that how we can make a similar international finance service center which can actually allow Indians to stay in India and of course even attract foreigners to work here and provide international financial services to entire world. And it has taken long time from 2014 when he became Prime Minister, and later on when various exchanges started in this IFSC authority, and that's how slowly things have moved. But July 3 onwards, a new chapter is going to be written. That is the SGX Nifty, which we have all seen for so many years, almost 20 years, which has always taken up our imagination in the morning because that's where no trading happens in India at 6:30 a.m. And that's what decides the direction of Indian markets throughout the day. And there was also a need felt, even otherwise, to bring offshore markets, the markets which have gone abroad. Can they come back? But they could not have come back because of the way our capital controls and other things work. That's why the IFSC, Gift IFSC had to be set up, which allows trading in US dollars, even for various products. And that's where somewhere on the line it was decided that NSE and SGX would tie up together so that all the orders which are placed today and matched in SGX will now through SGX come into the IFSC, Gift IFSC, and at NSE International Exchange, which will match, which will of course add local brokers also. We have already got around 60 plus brokers, 40, 50 more are in pipeline, and several clearing members are there, several banks are there. All of them put together will make this a vibrant marketplace for international services. One of them would be the Nifty index, which is traded in SGX Nifty. But from July 3, that all the matching will happen in IFSC, Gift IFSC at NSE International Exchange, sitting here, and whatever is the open interest on July 3 or on the Friday before that, because July 3 is a Monday, all the open interest will be shifted here, and that's going to be a historic movement where we are bringing offshore market onto a onshore, not exactly domestic market, but under IFSC authority and IFSC authority regulations. The index will of course be matching in Gift City. That's why it will be called Gift Nifty, and that's where today we all gathered to celebrate the unveiling of the logo of Gift Nifty, but also discuss with the two people sitting here who are very important to this initiative, Shri Janfariyadnews Srinivas, who is the chairman of IFSC authority, under whose tutelage these activities are happening and going to happen in future, and Shri V. Balasubramanian, who is the MD of NSE International Exchange and is located here at Gift City. He is staying here in Gandhinagar. With that, I thank all of you once again. We of course will have the interaction with the media towards the end of this session. So keep your questions ready, and hopefully we will be able to answer all of them. And of course, we'll also call you on July 3 again to witness the launch or the culmination of what was inaugurated last year in July, that all the trades that would come from that day, Monday onwards, onto the Gift City IFSC. And so we'll also call you once again, and I hope all of you and many more people from across India will also come on July 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your opening remark and a warm welcome. It is now my pleasure to invite our chief guest of today's event, Shri Janfariyadnews sir, Chairman, IFSC Authority, to address the gathering. Please put your hands together for welcoming sir.
Shri Ashish Kumar ji, Shri Balasubramaniam, distinguished guests and friends from media. Today is a very important day because today NSE is rebranding the SGX Nifty product as Gift Nifty product. The reason for this rebranding is that from June 30th, the entire trading of SGX Nifty will cease at SGX, and the entire volume will shift to Gift IFSC from 3rd of July. As mentioned by Mr. Ashish Kumar, the entire open interest will shift to Gift IFSC. If we look at the volumes in the SGX Nifty, it has been much more than that we have domestically. In fact, when it peaked, it even crossed 10 billion overnight open interest. So we expect that when this entire open interest shifts, it will be a historic moment for our exchange here, because by virtue of this connect, we will be connecting with global investors. Singapore, as you all know, for the last many decades, has emerged as a global hub, and investors from across the world are engaged in capital market activities in Singapore. By virtue of this connect, we are able to reach out to all those global investors who are not directly engaging with the Indian capital market. At the same time, there are many initiatives which are underway to see that global investors directly also engage with the Indian capital market through the international exchanges in the Gift IFSC. For example, we are looking at the potential of sponsored and unsponsored depository receipts of Indian stock. Once this is enabled, you will find that it will be very beneficial for the IFSC in terms of volumes and for the country also, because there would be a shift from participatory note route to the UDR and DR route. Today, we know that a lot of foreign investors who are not very keen to enter into the Indian capital market and comply with those requirements are engaging with the capital market indirectly through FPIs, through the participatory note route. But once you have these DRs and unsponsored DRs, our expectation is that this will replace gradually the participatory route, note route, and also add a lot of transparency and visibility to the capital market. When we look at Gift IFSC, we must note that it is very distinct from the domestic jurisdiction. There are 3 or 4 characteristics which are unique to the Gift IFSC. It is a jurisdiction within the domestic India. It is a separate financial jurisdiction where you have full capital account convertibility. Second, all the regulations which are in the Gift IFSC are distinct from the domestic regulations. And the regulations here are aligned with the international practices. So when a foreign investor comes, they're very familiar with these regulations. There's not much change, so they're able to easily adapt or comply with these regulations. Third, when we want foreign investor, global investor to come here or re-domicile here from offshore centers, you need to have a competitive tax regime. You need to have an attractive tax regime. Government, through a series of tax incentives and measures, today has made it possible that the tax regime in the GIFT IFSC is as attractive, if not better, than what prevails outside. And especially so for a foreign investor who is engaging in the India growth story, because there is tax certainty. Also, you are closer to your asset. Also, there is the advantage of lower costs. So even that advantage is there. And last but not least is ease of doing business. We are heavily focused on promoting ease of doing business. We are shortly coming up with a single window clearance system, where not only the clearance of IFSCA, but the clearance and approval accorded or no objection certificate given by other regulators, the domestic regulators, and also other agencies will be made available through this single platform. That means a foreign investor or a foreign entity who wants to set up business here has a single interface, only one online platform where they make their application and all approvals are obtained through that single interface. Why we have this international financial jurisdiction? Basically, there are two reasons for us to have this international financial jurisdiction. One is India as a large economy, as the fastest growing economy, is globalizing at a very rapid rate. When you are globalizing at a very rapid rate, you have to integrate with the global financial system. When you want to integrate with the global financial system, you will have to have convertibility. And therefore, through this platform, you are bringing in 100% convertibility. Therefore, you are able to plug into the global financial system through this GIFT IFSC platform. And the idea behind doing this, primary idea, is to onshore the international financial services being carried out offshore by Indian entities. Today, even now, a lot of Indian entities are procuring their international financial services from offshore centers. The idea is, why are you going offshore when you have an offshore onshore? That means GIFT IFSC is almost like a country within a country from the FEMA perspective. And therefore, if you can get all those advantages which you are getting offshore, then it makes more sense for you to come onshore. I'm happy to say that in more than one area, we have already succeeded. The first area is banking. Today, there is a huge interest among foreign banks to set up shop in GIFT IFSC. There are already more than 10 foreign banks, and an equivalent number are at different stages of application. Now, why are they coming here? Because it is much more beneficial for them to do their ECB business, to do their trade financing business out of GIFT IFSC as compared to doing it from offshore jurisdiction, because of the withholding tax advantage and other advantages. Because we have a lot of talent here. The cost of conducting business is much lower here. As a result of this, the combined balance sheet has almost trebled in the last 3 years, much more than doubled. Transactions, that means especially trade finance, it is 90-day or 180-day, so there will be more than one rotation in a year. It is more than 500 billion of transactions which have taken place here. So one very clear area is that in the area of banks, there is a huge interest, and we are fast emerging as a preferred destination, not only to meet the requirements of India, but also South Asia, and maybe in years to come, beyond South Asia, Southeast Asia, MENA region, etc. The second area, which is again showing a promising prospect, is funds. We have a very robust fund regulation regime. We regulate the fund manager as opposed to the fund, and the fund manager who sets up a fund managing entity here can start several schemes, and many non-retail type of schemes are almost approved on a green channel. So these are all as per the international best practices, whether it is leveraging or whether it is concentration of risk, all those related provisions are internationally aligned. But I would like to conclude by saying, ultimately, the heart of a financial center is the capital market. Capital market is the most important component of a financial center. And we have the entire ecosystem here. We have 2 international exchanges. Hopefully, they'll become 1 international exchange very soon by merging. We have a depository. We have clearing corporation. So the entire ecosystem is there. As a result of this, today, of course, the company law permits primary listing of Indian companies, but the rules are yet to come. I am very hopeful that the rules will come sooner than later, that will enable Indian companies, both listed and unlisted, to list here. Certainly, if they want to raise foreign capital, they will be coming here. Foreign companies also can come and list here. There is enough provision. So within South Asia, we can play an important role in bringing regional financial integration within South Asia to start with. Thereafter, we can think beyond South Asia also. So already, if you look at the bonds, it's close to 55 billion, or I don't know, 55, 60 billion, whatever, Lala? 72 billion. So now the count is going up very rapidly. And more than 10 billion is under the sustainable finance category. And private companies, public sector companies, multinational banks, the multinational development banks, everybody is coming. IFC has come, Asian Development Bank, NDB, all of them are looking at these possibilities. And public sector has come in a big way. Private sector also has started coming in a big way. So the bonds, already the bonds market is developing. As I mentioned, in this context, in the derivative segment, this is a good piece of demonstration. How 2 countries can create a win-win situation, because competition doesn't mean that at your cost I benefit. Competition also throws up a lot of cooperation opportunities. And I believe this is a classic example of cooperation between 2 jurisdictions, which have very friendly ties, which have strategic ties, which have close interests in both jurisdictions developing. And therefore, today it is a connect on one product. Tomorrow I expect several other products may come on this, by which you are able to reach out to other global investors. At the same time, in your own exchange, you may directly also attract investors. And that's how the capital market, on the derivative side, on the bond side, on the primary listing, on the secondary listing and trading, REITs, InvITs, all these things, I am very confident, because you have the wherewithal, you have the ecosystem will develop. You'll be happy to know that after continuous efforts, now the IIBX, the International Bullion Exchange, has started taking off, because a lot of now trading has started in the IIBX, and we expect that very soon most of the jewelers would like to import their gold through the bullion exchange. Here also you have the bullion depository receipt, and I think in 30 minutes, they're able to clear the entire transaction, which is some sort of world record. That is, from the moment the foreign exchange comes from the domestic area to converting it into a BDR, to trading, to then extinguishing the BDR, and then crediting it to the buyer and crediting the money to the supplier, and then going to the customs and getting it released. Everything is online. So I just thought I'll paint the larger picture, and these are more akin to structural reforms, deep economic reforms. It will take time. There is no instant coffee or a Maggi noodle type of solution here. It takes time. For it to be durable, it takes time. I'm extremely satisfied with the progress we are making, and we had 2 years of COVID, and now post-COVID, we are seeing a lot of interest is getting generated, and interest which is getting generated is gradually getting translated into business. So with this, I would like to conclude and also take this opportunity to extend my best wishes to NSE and NSE IFSC to really grow from strength to strength. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. It is your support and guidance which is acting as a driving force for all of us in accelerating to achieve the key objective of IFSCA in making IFSCA a truly international jurisdiction. Now, it's the time for the moment we have all been gathered. May I request all the dignitaries to come forward and press the launch buzzer to unveil the Gift Nifty logo. On the count of 10, please join us. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. May I request dignitaries to take their seat, please? The new logo is a significant milestone in the NSE International Exchange journey. The Gift Nifty logo encapsulates the essence of the future market's dynamic nature, symbolizing growth, agility, and endless possibilities. It represents the spirit of forward-thinking strategies and positions Gift Nifty as a pioneering force in the Nifty derivative segment. With this modern and impactful design, the logo reinforces NSEIX's position as a leading marketplace for Nifty trading while solidifying Gift Nifty's brand identity as a symbol of trust and growth. To add to the occasion, along with the logo, we also launch our new website, NSEIX.com. I may request Sri Janfariyadnews sir to launch the website by pressing the button of the remote. Please put your hands together for. Now, I would like to request Sri V. Balasubramaniam, MD and CEO, NSE International Exchange, to present the memento to Sri Janfariyadnews sir. Please put your hands together. Now we open the floor for the media interaction. You may raise the hand for asking the question.
Sir, I just want to know how will this work? All the brokers will set up offices here, will they register here from and SGX role in total this transaction. So it will also work as a broker of NSE now?
Thank you. So the current modality is very simple. SGX has actually set up a subsidiary firm, which is a special purpose vehicle called the SGX ICI. I think there are some representatives here from SGX ICI here. So effectively, they are a trading and clearing member of NSE International Exchange. So what will happen is, so they are the broking firm which is set up in the IFSC. Parallelly, SGX, which has its own system where its clients, its members are trading, they will be routing the order through the SGX ICI or the SPB, and that will be coming into the NSEIX system for matching. So that is basically the modality for trading.
Okay.
After the trading is over, all the matching will happen on the NSE system, on the NSE International Exchange system. So basically, there are going to be other members who are also going to trade against them. So let's assume that an order was routed from Singapore, say for 1 million of Gift Nifty, and somebody traded from our side for 1 million. Now this $1 million is the open interest, which is newly created. This will have to be settled by our clearing corporation. So we have our own clearing corporation, NSE International Clearing Corporation. So we will be actually settling this trade within the SGX SPV, which is the counterparty, along with the other counterparty who is the other broker, and it will be settled through our clearing corporation. But back to back, the same $1 million is for a client of Singapore Exchange. And that part, the Singapore Exchange own clearing corporation will take the counterparty risk as far as their client are concerned.
Just to add, in a way, for ease of doing business, people who are trading from Singapore, because Singapore is an international financial service center, there are thousands of people trading outside of Singapore through the SGX. So those people will not find any difference at all. They will continue to place orders the way they have been placing orders for last 20 years. Only thing is that the matching, that their servers which match, the computers which match the orders have just been shifted to Gandhinagar. Otherwise, for them, trading, clearing, settlement, everything remain as if nothing has changed. So they will not find any difference. Only thing is, it will add some more liquidity. Because the local IFSC brokers, which are 16 number today, will become probably 100 by over next 3-4 months. So those people will also have their algorithms running, their clients across the world also placing orders. So that will basically make it a much larger market than what today is happening. So effectively, people trading out of Singapore will not find any difference at all. They will only find some increased liquidity to begin with, and later on, much more liquidity.
Okay, thank you.
So officially start from July.
It is actually started. The trading started because on July 29, 2022, Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated the NSE IFSC SGX link. That had to be gradually taken to the logical conclusion that the 100% orders and 100% trades and 100% open interest shifts to the GIFT IFSC. That's what is happening from July 3. In a way, it is a conclusion of what was inaugurated last year.
Thank you.
આશીષભાઈ તમે કીધું કે લિક્વિડિટી સારી રહેશે લોકલ બ્રોકર્સનું પાર્ટિસિપેશન રહેશે અને મારું કહેવું છે કે જે 22 કલાક સુધી કદાચ એમાં ટ્રેડિંગ શક્ય છે કદાચ ફાઇનલ કોલ નથી લેવાયો પણ એના કારણે એવું થઈ શકે છે કે જે એફપીઆઈઝ ડિરેક્ટલી મુંબઈ પ્લેટફોર્મ પર ટ્રેડ કરી રહી છે એમાંથી કેટલું વોલ્યુમ એનએસસી આઈએક્સ પર શિફ્ટ થાય એના કારણે ત્યાં લોસ થાય
भला आपका ट्रेडिंग का समय बता दीजिए.
So I will speak in Hindi now. So 21 घंटे की ट्रेडिंग होगी तो सुबह जो है 6:30 बजे सिंगापुर खुलता है, तो उसी टाइम पे हमारा NSE इंटरनेशनल एक्सचेंज भी खुलेगा और 2 सेशन में ट्रेडिंग होगी। तो सुबह 6:30 से लेके दोपहर के जो 3:40 को जो लोकल इंडियन मार्केट बंद होती है, जैसे अपनी डेरिवेटिव्स मार्केट बनती है, वो जो है सेशन 1 होगा। उसके बाद जो है हम एक पोस्ट क्लोज, उसके बाद थोड़ा एक ये लेके ब्रेक लेके सेशन दूसरा सेशन चालू होगा और वो करीब 2:45 तक चलेगा। तो टोटल करीबन 21 घंटे की ट्रेडिंग होगी।
दूसरा आपने जो कहा ना, जो मैं सब गुजराती में बोल रहे थे लेकिन थोड़ा समझ को जो आया कि क्या वहाँ की लिक्विडिटी यहाँ शिफ्ट होगी, मुंबई की जो, वो तो शिफ्ट नहीं हो सकती है क्योंकि वो तो एक रुपी INR डिनोमिनेटेड प्रोडक्ट है।
I said that for FPIs can, उनके लिए तो INR और डॉलर।
No, that's okay. See, there's a difference between this product and that product. There are already a lot of thousands of people who are trading in the SGX. This particular connect is only transmitting those orders from the front end of SGX to the back end of NSE IFSC. Second, Indian brokers are also getting an additional opportunity when there is an open interest of 6 billion, 8 billion. They are also able to trade. Third, the present product is more, it's basically futures, you know, stock index based futures, but maybe they can open options also.
जरूर सर, ऑप्शंस भी अलाउड है यहाँ पर। और लिक्विडिटी की जो बात है कि कई FPIs है जो है वो भारत में अभी रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है, वो लोग सिंगापुर के द्वारा ही ट्रेड करते हैं। तो वो लोग अभी भी फ्यूचर में भी वैसे ही करते रहेंगे जब तक वो भारत के जुरिडिक्शन में नहीं आना चाहते हैं। वो सिंगापुर के द्वारा ऑर्डर रखेंगे, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा और ट्रेड होगा। तो उनकी कोई यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली होने की संभावना नहीं है। लेकिन कई जो ब्रोकर्स हैं जिन्होंने अपनी ब्रांच या अपने सब्सिडीज यहाँ पे खोले हुए हैं, तो वो लोग जो दोनों के बीच में आर्बिट्राज भी कर सकते हैं। लेकिन हमने देखा है पहले भी कि जब 2 मार्केट चलते हैं तो दोनों में ट्रेडिंग वॉल्यूम की वृद्धि होती है, कम नहीं होता है, क्योंकि आर्बिट्राज अपॉर्चुनिटी दोनों तरफ अलग से मिलता है। तो ये जब यहाँ पर गिफ्ट सिटी में पूरा ट्रेडिंग आएगा तो ओवर अ पीरियड मुझे लग रहा है कि इसमें वहाँ पर भी वृद्धि होगी और यहाँ पर भी वृद्धि होगी, क्योंकि FPI जो दोनों तरफ ट्रेड करना चाहते हैं वो तो आज भी सिंगापुर में कर रहे हैं। ऐसा नहीं कि यहाँ पे नहीं करेंगे या यहाँ पे ज़्यादा करेंगे, वो लोग तो आज सिंगापुर में कर ही रहे हैं। लेकिन जो आर्बिट्राज की फैसिलिटी हमारे इंडियन ब्रोकर्स को आज नहीं मिलती, क्योंकि सिंगापुर में ट्रेडिंग करना एक तरह से बड़ा कॉस्टली है। वहाँ पर ऑफिस खोलना पड़ता है, वहाँ पे लोगों को सैलरी देनी पड़ती है, वहाँ पे मिनिमम एक खर्चा करना पड़ता है ऑफिस रखने के लिए भी। ऐसे प्रदेश के जो विदेश के जो कंपनीज आती है वहाँ पे सिंगापुर में बहुत कम कॉस्ट में काम नहीं कर सकते, मिनिमम उनका एक खर्चा करना पड़ता है जो यहाँ पर नहीवत है ही नहीं। तो उस हिसाब से आप देखेंगे कि हमारे जो मेंबर्स सिंगापुर में ऑफिस नहीं खोल सकते थे, जो आज भारत के पगार पे एक्चुअली मुंबई के कम पगार देते हैं गिफ्ट सिटी में, उसमें भी वो लोग इंटरनेशनल ट्रेडिंग कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि यहाँ पर डॉलर में ट्रेडिंग है और वहाँ पर रुपये में ट्रेडिंग है। जो मुंबई में ट्रेडिंग होता है वो रुपये में होता है, जबकि यहाँ पर निफ्टी का ट्रेडिंग भी US डॉलर्स में ही होगा।
આશીષભાઈ, મુંબઈમાં બી પ્લેટફોર્મનો ટ્રેડિંગ અવર્સ વધશે આના પાછળ તમને ફોર્સ
ओके, जो बेसिकली जो सवाल ये है कि मुंबई में ये जो 21 घंटे चलने जा रहा है गिफ्ट निफ्टी, तो हम लोग भी कुछ कोशिश करेंगे। हम कोशिश तो कर रहे हैं, सभी मेंबर्स हाँ कहेंगे, रेगुलेटर्स भी हाँ कहेंगे। जो डोमेस्टिक के रेगुलेटर है, हमारे IFSC के रेगुलेटर यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, डोमेस्टिक रेगुलेटर्स की भी हमें परमिशन चाहिए होगी। एक बार सभी जो मेंबर्स हैं एग्री करते हैं तो थोड़ा थोड़ा करके हम वहाँ पर भी बढ़ाने की कोशिश करेंगे।
एक और बात मैं ऐड करना चाहूँगा, ये जो गिफ्ट निफ्टी है ये एक ब्रांड है, मतलब ये बेसिकली एक अम्ब्रेला ब्रांड है। उसके अंदर 4 इंडेक्स इंक्लूडेड है अभी ये जो SGX कनेक्ट के अरेंजमेंट में। एक तो गिफ्ट निफ्टी 50 जो निफ्टी 50 टॉप 50 वाली इंडेक्स है वो है। दूसरी जो है बैंक निफ्टी, वो भी इसके अंदर आएगी। और तीसरा जो है IT निफ्टी, और लास्ट जो है फिन निफ्टी। ये चारों फिलहाल हमारे एग्रीमेंट में ये चारों प्रोडक्ट्स कवर्ड है इन द गिफ्ट निफ्टी सीरीज।
थैंक यू।
और जैसे भी आप आदरणीय इसका चेयरमैन ने कहा कि आगे और भी प्रोडक्ट्स लाने की संभावना है। सिर्फ ये कनेक्ट से नहीं, बट हमारी ऐसे भी इच्छा है कि दुनिया के बाकी जो वरिष्ठ एक्सचेंजेस है उनसे भी हमारे ऐसे कनेक्ट हों जो ये एग्रीमेंट के तहत जो प्रोहिबिटेड नहीं है, वो दूसरे एक्सचेंजेस से भी हम काम कर सकें।
एंड ये कनेक्ट जो है एक विन विन अरेंजमेंट है। आज फिलहाल जो है सिंगापुर में इंटरनेशनल क्लाइंट्स उनके काम कर रहे हैं। अब यहाँ पे क्या होगा, इंडियन क्लाइंट्स भी यहाँ पे, इंडियन मेंबर्स जो इंडिया से यहाँ पे उन्होंने अपना खुद का जो मेंबर फॉर्म्स बनाए हैं वो भी काम कर पाएंगे, एनआरआईज भी काम कर पाएंगे, और इंटरनेशनल जो क्लाइंट्स हैं सिंगापुर की तरफ वो भी काम कर पाएंगे। वो सिंगापुर के थ्रू भी आ सकते हैं या हमारे ब्रोकर्स के थ्रू भी आ सकते हैं, तो उनको अभी चॉइसेस बढ़ती है। तो इफेक्टिवली हम जो है हम लिक्विडिटी और डीपन करना चाहते हैं। तो इफेक्टिवली वी आर व्हाट भी जो फ्रैगमेंटेशन है जहाँ पे इंटरनेशनल मार्केट सेपरेट है और डोमेस्टिक मार्केट मुंबई में चलता है, हम एक्चुअली एक मिडिल पॉइंट है जहाँ पे दोनों का कन्वर्जेंस हो रहा है। तो दोनों साइड के पार्टिसिपेंट्स यहाँ पे एक साथ आएंगे।
लेकिन टेलीविजन में या इवन ट्विटर पे या सोशल मीडिया में आप सुबह 6:30 बजे से उठ के जो SGX निफ्टी कहते हो, मुझे आशा है कि आप जुलाई 3 से उसको गिफ्ट निफ्टी कहेंगे।
This wedding of Gift Nifty, can we expect such arrangements in future for other states as well?
We have first connect is between SGX, that is Singapore and India, but there is a possibility with approvals and what is not prohibited in our agreement with SGX. Whatever is allowed to us, we will certainly do, and as per the plans which government wants us to do, because again, all the whatever an exchange does has to be approved by the authority, and they will also consult with respective central government and other places where they feel that there is a strategic interest for a particular product, for a particular country to have that kind of connect and so on and so forth.
And this arrangement, what does it mean for Gujarat? Can you be very specific about Gujarat?
As I said, basically what Honorable Prime Minister had visualized in around 2007 during his visit to Singapore, if my memory is correct, that we will provide international financial services to the people in the world by Gift City, which will of course employ so many young Indians and create huge number of jobs. Once large number of jobs, if you since many of you might be coming after a long time, you might have seen the number of buildings that have been created, number of buildings that are under progress, being dug up and things like that. And also you might have heard that the Gift City's limit has now been increased to take over few more villages. The demand is immense. That also tells you that the number of jobs that are getting created are also immense. Already, I don't have the exact numbers, but I'm sure Honorable IFSCA Chairman will be able to discuss the kind of number of people who are working not only in domestic area of Gift City, but also of international financial service center side. Literally, one single bank has created 3,000 sort of jobs, which are very high-paying jobs. And that once those jobs get created, newer service jobs get created around them. All the grocers and all the rickshawalas and everyone, all those newer jobs get created. So this is basically going to be a fulcrum of new high-paying jobs, which is servicing the rest of the world. What IT did for India, in some ways, in the next sort of few years or next 10 years, the finance can potentially do sitting here in Gift City.
Hello.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So yes, sir. What about the brokerage charges?
Brokerage charges is something between the broker and the customer. So basically, there are brokers even in domestic area who charge very little or fixed cost per annum and things like that. And then there are brokers who charge what they call full service brokers. They charge much larger amounts by providing other services like research and all. So it will be basically a wide spectrum of brokerages. People who are used to paying the brokerage in Singapore will continue to do the same thing because they are not even, many of them may not become even aware that the order is getting matched here. Whatever happens in Gift City, that is orders coming out of Gift City, again the broker will have a tie-up with the customer. Each customer they negotiate separately most of the times because these are usually not retail customers. So each customer may ask for a special sort of rate, and which the brokers do provide because ultimately even that money is kind of large, right? So that's how I would put it. We do not have views on the brokerage except we put higher limits. So other than that, below that, anyone can charge any amount within that from 0 to the higher limits. And,
What is the higher limit, sir?
it's currently 2.5%, which I have been told nobody charges. I think today even in domestic, people are charging, even the full service guys charge somewhere around 0.25 to 0.5% in the sort of discount brokerage. It's pretty much 20 rupees per transaction or even lower in many cases, right? So,
Okay, thank you.
Any special taxes benefit?
I mentioned, is it not, you already have exemption from capital gains for non-residents. You have tax from, the profit is not taxed for 10 years of operation. There's no GST, STT. So whatever, you see, basically what happens, what is the objective? Onshore the offshore transactions conducted by Indian entities. So when Indian entities are going outside to raise capital, or Indian entities are borrowing from outside, or Indian entities are listing their stock or DR or whatever bond outside, why are they doing it? Because a lot of investors are there. Okay, so you want to create those same conditions here, and there may be some tax incentives, there may be ease of doing business. So we are trying to replicate all those things so that to start with, to begin with, at least Indian entities don't have to go outside and they can promote this. The best way to understand GIFT IFSC is what Hong Kong is to China. Hong Kong connects with the world and China connects with the world through Hong Kong. India connects to the world both from domestic and from GIFT. Our approach has been different. So global investor can directly participate through the domestic channels, or they can, if they don't want to get into rupee, etc., if they don't want to comply with all the domestic regulations, they feel these regulations are more, because what happens today, whatever inflow we are getting, the estimates are that if we have to meet the net zero emission and SDG, Sustainable Development Goal targets, over the next 10-15 years will require more than 10 trillion. And more than 5 trillion has to come from outside, foreign capital, that much we can't generate. So today how much are we getting per annum? You need to treble it, quadruple it. So GIFT will also supplement. It is never the case that people who are in the domestic area will shift here. They have already come to the domestic area. They have already they are comfortable with that setup and they'll do it. But there are a lot of non-residents who are not willing to come to the domestic area. Therefore, they go to Singapore or they go to London. Indian stock bonds were being traded in London also. Now, or somewhere else, Dubai. Now you say that why you go there, you come here.
So गुजरात सरकार ने जो जंतरी जिसको कहते हैं स्टैम्प ड्यूटी, वो भी डोमेस्टिक एरिया में और आईएफएससी में दोनों में माफ किया हुआ है. तो वो भी एक एडिशनल टैक्स बेनिफिट गुजरात सरकार की तरफ से. If you don't have any questions, तो जुलाई 3 के लिए आप सभी तैयार हैं? Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Shri V. Balasubramanian to give the vote of thanks.
you and a very good afternoon to all of you. It's indeed my honor and privilege to present this vote of thanks. First and foremost, let me thank Chairman Srinivas of IFSC Authority for taking time out from his busy schedule and joining us today, and in fact so patiently answering all the questions. Let me also thank some of the officials from NSEIX, the two executive directors, Mr. Dipesha and Praveen Trivedi, and also Praveen Kamath, who is the general manager, who heads the capital market division of IFSC, who is directly oversight for our exchange. And let me also thank all my friends in the fraternity from IFSC, all the IBU banks, plus all the other participants from the other exchanges as well as the member firms. And of course, I would like to thank SGX ICI also to send their participation in. And let me also thank all of you media for being here in such a large number and having so much interest in the GIFT IFSC Connect. But having said this, let me just tell you that this GIFT Nifty is going to be a very big momentum change. Because in some sense, today if you look at Indian market is roughly about close to about $3.3 to $3.4 trillion in terms of the market capitalization. And roughly about 20 to 25% of this is owned by foreign portfolio investors, which translates to about $600 to $650 billion of investment. And obviously they need hedging tools, and obviously the benchmark contract on Nifty is used as a parameter for equity index, and that is something which they hedge, and today they are doing it in other markets in the world. SGX obviously is one of the largest ones offshore which is happening, and that offshoring is now slowly going to move to us. And effectively this started with the Honorable Prime Minister inaugurating the Connect on July 29, 2022, and now in less than 1 year period we actually managed to complete the switch, and effectively from July 3 the full switch would have happened, which means all the volumes, all the trading which were happening on Singapore Exchange through this Connect arrangement will now move into the GIFT IFSC. And this, as I said, is going to be very large, because in some sense we will be controlling the price signals for our equity markets. So the Honorable PM had actually set a target saying that we should become the price setters. So obviously our own markets we had exported out, and in fact international players had access to our market much before local Indians could have. And in some sense we are bridging this gap, we are finally bringing it home. So in actually one of the media channels they said in some sense market ka Kohinoor wapas la raha hai. So this is virtually something that tantamount and that important from the overall scheme of things. And as we said, this is just the beginning. I'm sure that once this Connect starts developing, probably the next couple of months we'll see a lot of interest globally as well as from India, where people will start coming and coming towards the NSE International Exchange. And hopefully the market size will become larger, the pie will become larger. In fact, we are going to play a supplementary role as far as Singapore is concerned, and we are also going to play a very big complementary role for the Indian markets. So we are going to see actually volumes multiply on all sides, more participation and more liquidity pool getting created. So this is just the beginning, and again I would like to once again express my heartfelt thanks to all of you, and also my colleagues who have worked hard to put together this event. And obviously the big event is going to be on July 3, and we will like all of you to actually participate. And most importantly to the media channels, I would like to say that the GIFT Nifty logo is in some sense symbolizing the return of the Singapore Nifty from Singapore to GIFT City. And I would like you to position it in all your media pages, whether it is offline publicity, offline media, or whether it is online media. I will request you to all start carrying the prices. And from July 3, I think all the market should start looking from early morning to start looking at the GIFT Nifty. So effectively, almost 10 to 12 crore investor base in India, which looks at the Nifty in the morning, will now start looking by opening and actually start looking at the GIFT City for the values. Thank you very much.
Here we conclude our today's event.